Hi, my name is Andrew Steele, and I'm going to be talking about my company, Morningstar. So, Morningstar is an independent investment research company based out of Chicago, Illinois. Um, but before I really get into the thick of things, I just want to give you like a little update on so far. I've loved Morningstar. I've loved every minute of it. My expectations coming into this were going to be I was just going to be some lowly intern who's just entering data, not doing a lot of fun work, and I've not done any of that kind of stuff. It has been extremely hands-on, a lot of collaboration, and this has truly been the most enjoyable 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks of my working career. And I hope that these next 7 weeks um, are just as good as are just as good as the first ones. So going off of that, let's really get into things. We'll start with who we are. So Morningstar is an independent research company, independent investment research company, and there's three parts you need to focus on there: the independent, um, uh, and the investment and the research. So when I say independent, I mean that Morningstar is not paid by companies, by mutual funds, by anybody to rate them. There's no sort of fee, required to get a Morningstar rating. Um, and that's important because we see these companies like Standard and Poor's and Moody's where they take fees, in order to rate, in order to rate assets or to rate companies, and that right there is just a conflict of interest because, maybe they're gonna charge maybe they're gonna give them a higher rating just so they can just so they can have a certain company's business. And Morningstar doesn't do that. It is truly one of the only independent investment research companies, especially compared to Thomson Reuters and Bloomberg. And the end goal truly is the investor, and that's why we are so independent because we don't want to have a sort of conflict of interest. The person who's most important to us is the investor. And so we looked at the independent part. Now we're talking investment research aspect. So what Morningstar really focuses on is providing everybody. And I'm not just talking about investors. I'm talking about, mom and dad, and all the way up to your institutional investor or fund manager, information on funds and stocks and other assets, in exchanges. So for example, Morningstar has we'll get into this later. Morningstar has product called Morningstar Direct, which is for individual investors, people who just kind of want to make a couple bucks. And then they have a software called the Advisory Research Center, which is all the way for fund managers, people from companies like Vanguard or Fidelity use we call it ARC, use ARC in order to get better insights about their investments. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little more about the history of Morningstar. So about 30 years ago, 27-year-old Joe Mancino, who was a stock analyst, decided that everyone should have proper access to investment research. So this is going back to what I was talking about, everybody, not just the stock analysts, not just the institutional, investors, mom and dad, me and you, everybody should have the proper access to this sort of information because, if we ever want to be an investor, we should do it wisely, and we need to have, an appropriate amount of information in order to make good, wise investments that are safe for our future. So we started Morningstar in Chicago with 7 employees and covered about 400 investments. Fast forward 30 years, Morningstar is now in 7 different countries, with over 544,000 investments covered, and 5,000 employees. Although Joe stepped down as CEO in January, the new CEO, Kunal Kapoor, is an extremely, extremely nice guy. He's doing very good things for the company. He's leading it in a great way, and everyone's really happy to have him around. But up here I have a quote on the screen, and it says, "The light which puts out our eyes is darkness to us. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. There is more day to dawn. The sun is but a morning star." So this was from Henry David Thoreau's Walden, and this was Joe's inspiration for naming it Morningstar because you really only invest if you know what you're talking about. So the goal of Morningstar is to shed light on the market for anyone who wants to invest. And to help shed this light and give people good advice about what to do. And so this advice, like I was talking about, leads nicely to the next point about what we do. And so we basically we have three main different categories. The first would be Morningstar Direct, which you see right here. Morningstar Direct is for basically any investor who's looking to invest in the stock market. The stock market, or the fund market. And what Morningstar Direct does is it compiles data about millions and millions of pieces of data about different mutual funds. Of course, what a mutual fund is basically a fund that you give your money to a manager, and the manager goes and invests it within the market. And so Morningstar Direct generates what we call research reports, and these research reports rate companies as either gold, silver, bronze, neutral, or negative. And this is actually the fund research manager research is actually a section that I'm working in, but we'll get more into that later. So Morningstar Direct is really for the any investor to really look at, take the information and decide about, all right, what fund do I want to give my money to? Do I want to give it to Vanguard? Do I want to give it to Franklin Templeton? And it just has millions and millions of pieces of data points, that you can use in order to make this well-advised decision. Next, we have over here, and this is a report generated from, as I was saying earlier, ARC, which is the Advisory Research Center. And the Advisory Research Center is more for institutional investors. So these would be for your Fidelities or for your, Vanguard managers to look at and to compile information about the market, about what stocks to invest in. I've used both Morningstar Direct and ARC, and they're both very, very, helpful, useful programs, easy to use. One actually really cool thing with Direct is currently it's a software that you both need to download on your computer and use the internet for, but it's currently moving to a cloud-based system, so it'll be all online, it'll be much easier to use. I've used both the cloud-based version and the version we have now, and I like the cloud-based version much better. So I'm really looking forward to when the cloud technology comes out and goes totally online. And the last little section is basically the fund within Morningstar, and that's the Morningstar Investment Management team. And basically they take investors' money and put it towards the market, and of course try to make a return and do good by their investors. But one thing I keep coming back to is this term data, and Morningstar really is a data company in the sense that we have a whole team, that's put together just to get all this data, because we can't make these reports, we can't make our insightful decisions to help the customer make their decisions if we don't have our data. So what the data really does is it drives the company. So we have a whole team dedicated towards it. I can't speak. I'll admit this. Bloomberg and Thomson Reuters has better information for as far as equity data goes. But for fund data, that is our secret sauce. That is our competitive advantage, 100% across the whole market. We have the most fund data 10 times over compared to anybody else. So that's what is really driving Morningstar, driving their sales and really helping them do so well. Back to what I do. Like I was saying, I work in the manager research sector, with the analysts there. And a lot of what I'm doing is, reading over reports, from either Direct or from ARC or even on the ASX, which is the Australian stock exchange. And I've been really generating my own opinion. All right, should we rate these guys silver? Should we rate them gold? We have 5 pillars that we evaluate: parent, process, price, portfolio, and performance. And it's really cool to break it down by those pillars, because it's nothing that I really thought of before until I got to Morningstar. And I've almost felt like I've been a real analyst, because I've been analyzing these companies, and it seems like my opinion is actually valued, which I didn't expect. Like I was saying in the beginning, I expected to come and just do data input, but people are asking me to read over this. What do I think about this? So I really feel like the exposure that I'm getting is gonna go, miles for me as far as applying for jobs next year, and just this kind of experience is it's invaluable. Today I was even brought to do a manager research review, where I talk to managers and I actually ask them questions, as an intern, which is kind of unheard of in other companies. So that was just really cool. So as far as collaboration goes, like I was saying earlier, it is an absolute team effort. So just based on the teamwork that I've noticed and that I've been working in. So when we research a fund, each fund has one person who does the research, called the lead analyst. And then there's a secondary analyst. But the cool thing is the secondary analyst worked on that fund last year. So, they're off the lead and the secondary are often going back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other. But like, all right, what happened last year and how those trends continued this year? Just like questions like that. But it doesn't just stop with those two people. We have a team of about eight guys and girls, and because everyone's been there, 4 or 5 years, at the least, a lot of guys have been there like 10 or 12. They covered this fund 2 year, 2 3 years ago. So, I can say to Ross, hey Ross, what'd you think of this when you looked at these guys 3 years ago? And he'll give me his opinion. And at the end of each sector, we rate the companies by sector. So right now we're doing the small market caps, which is like the smaller funds. We all come together and everybody talks about the fund. All right, we should rate them like this. No, we should rate them like this. Here's why. Here's why. And it just and that sort of teamwork and collaboration really generates the best rating because it's not so it's subjective among so many people who have so much experience in the field. Um, and the motivation behind this, really comes from the fact that people don't say, all right, you know what, Alex is my boss. People don't say, Alex, you have a bad rating here. Because no, it's the whole teams. It's the whole team. So everyone has a little stake in each rating, even if they didn't even cover the fund that year, because it reflects on the Australian, on the Australian research team. So one way how this teamwork helps spurred is just the office setup. This is a picture of my office, and as you can see, we're all kind of right next to each other. So I can turn to my left and ask Alex a question, or turn to my right and ask Michael a question. I can turn around and ask Angela a question, and I don't have to get up and walk somewhere else just to get a question answered. I can literally just turn around and it'll be answered right there, which I think is really really cool because it fosters the community, the team environment. Um, and there's always team meetings going on, and this isn't just my area of the company. I see teamwork and meetings going on all around the office. Um, so it really is key here, collaboration and working with each other. As far as the culture goes, as I was saying earlier, Morningstar doesn't the end goal, of course, is the investor who's ever using our research and our customer. But we do so much more than that. We have this company culture of giving back. This is a picture from the J.P. Morgan philanthropic race last year. We actually had the third largest team go to it, and this is our team from Chicago. We had the third largest team go to it and participate. We give back a lot, and it's not so much giving back, but it's really fostering relationships among the office. We have monthly drinks I think it's every third Monday, or sorry, third Friday of the month that we had last week, which are just awesome. Even within just on my team, we try to go out for lunch every week. And the culture really revolves around building upon each other, because if we can build upon each other, we can deliver a truly amazing product to our investors and to our customers, our users. And finally, just talking about outreach. One amazing thing Morningstar does is at the end of every year they have the Morningstar Awards, and the Morningstar Awards is basically awards that reward these fund managers on being very philanthropic, being very environmentally safe, and I truly think that these are the words that really push people to behave in a way that is going to be very behave in a way that, although may not boost their profits the most, it's something that's appealing to us, and we want to promote this sort of responsibility among the financial industry, which is a place where it's not usually promoted. Like I said, I love Morningstar. Hope you enjoyed it. and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks a lot for listening.